Yo, 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 yo.
What's going on, man?
We back with another one.
Yes, sir.
Everything good?
Ain't good enough, bro. I'm just trying to get through the day.
You trying to get to the day?
Yeah, man, it's all muddy and stuff outside, man. I had to go on a whole adventure just to get over here.
Oh, yeah. The weather been dry, Seattle-ish.
So
Well,
Seattle,
at least this week. And, snowy before that.
it seemed more like Miami during hurricane season.
But, so today, you want to tell them what we're talking about?
Well, today we're gonna jump into pretty much cartoons, and not just any cartoons. We talking about the goats, the ones that we have self-proclaimed the goats.
Mm-hmm. This is all perspective and opinion based because I know some people might be like, oh, that ain't the GOAT and all that. And then, some people got their little, what they think is the GOAT that we probably think is trash.
Yeah.
But, this ain't about y'all.
Yeah.
So, how we gonna start off? We're going back in the day. We're going to favorite cartoons. What we gonna do?
Man, we can start anywhere. Like, there's no specific time. Like, we can jump in from wherever we felt as though we need to jump in at.
Okay. So, growing up, you like Nickelodeon?
Man, that's not even a question. Like,
Yeah.
why would you even ask? Like, Nickelodeon
Some people didn't like
was childhood,
Some people didn't like Nick, man.
and they deserve to be in jail.
Hey, what about Cartoon Network?
Cartoon Network was, I mean, I like some of their shows, but it was like it wasn't standing up to
Yeah,
Nickelodeon to me. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think like Nickelodeon it was just too much.
Yeah, because I mean, they were showing cartoons from like the '60s and '70s. Like they were showing like Flintstones and like Speed Racer, Smurfs and stuff like that. I mean, they cool. I mean, those are the classics.
Yeah,
Those are the classics. I understand. I actually like some of the classics.
yeah.
Like,
They had a bunch of classics. I'll say that.
yeah,
Because you add in the what you said, the Looney Tunes.
yeah, Looney Tunes.
Scooby Doo, which is probably one of my favorite cartoons
Yeah.
of all time.
Even though, like, I think, was like not what's new Scooby Doo, but a pup named Scooby Doo is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love all the Scooby Doos. They had, then it was Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, that was.
What was the one that was the opposite of the Flintstones? They were in the future.
Oh, the Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
I wasn't
yeah.
a fan of the Jetsons. I'm
You
sorry.
know, it was decent. I like it, but it was just like those were just iconic shows for maybe our parents.
Yeah, just for their time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I felt like once we came of age, it was just like, yo, Nickelodeon just can't miss right now.
You ain't lying, bro.
Like,
You ain't lying.
like, my favorite cartoon, maybe of all time, it might be a tie. I want to say between like Doug and Hey Arnold and maybe SpongeBob.
I got the SpongeBob keychain right now, bro. Like those people who know me know I stay with my SpongeBob keychain.
Yeah, and it's man, it's just I don't even know where to start. Like it's just one. I start with Doug, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a avid Doug. Yeah, that's where one of the biggest inspiration from my journal videos comes from is Doug.
Yes,
One of the a young kid with a big imagination.
man, what an imagination this kid had. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like he made you want to just think about stuff.
Right.
Like
right.
I mean, he was empowering kids to think. Like
And did he have a thinking scenario for everything that happened?
man, what?
If somebody said hi to him the wrong way, did he dream up a scenario of what was going to happen? And
Man, he'd be an amazing writer.
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah, multiple characters. The Quill Man.
One and
Your favorite Jack Bandit. Yeah. What was it? Durango Doug. What was the one where he was like the 007? What was his
Oh,
name?
what was his name? I remember. I can't.
Cause I had the episode in my head where something happened and his imagination got to running and he called up all the characters together to get him to help him out through the. I forgot. Okay, well Mike's looking it up right now.
Man, I have to. I can't go without knowing.
Yeah.
It's like
It
doesn't.
We got the Quill Man. Got Jack Bandit.
Oh yeah, what about the song they had banging on the trash can?
Yeah.
Bro, that song was catchy as hell, bro.
A bunch of catchy songs. Banging on the trash can. They had the music group The Beats, which I'm guessing is a playoff of the Beatles.
Bro,
it was well written. You had the Hills, Roger and his crew.
Man, Roger was annoying, bro.
Yeah,
he was super annoying. He wasn't even intimidating. He was just annoying.
Definitely just annoying. The Crush, Patty.
Yeah, Patty Mayonnaise.
Patty Mayo.
So
every chick that I have a crush on, that they're my Patty. You know what I'm saying?
Are you for real?
Nah, not really.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
For the sake of the podcast.
Okay,
did you hear the backstory on that character name?
What, Patty Mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it involves hamburgers.
The person who created the girl that he had a crush on, her favorite meal was a chicken patty with mayonnaise on it.
Get out of here, bro.
Yeah. If you watch Nick Rewind, like Nickelodeon at night, they play a bunch of the old shows. It's called Nick Rewind, and during the shows, they'll post like random facts like on the screen about TV shows, and that was one of the random facts that popped up on the screen. Like that's where Patty Mayonnaise came from. Like a girl he had a crush on in high school, her favorite meal was a chicken patty with mayonnaise on it.
Yeah, I mean that's actually clever, honestly.
Yeah,
to add that in there,
just using what you've been through to just create.
Yeah.
So question: how do you think, like, when she found out, because Doug is about the same age as us, like, what do you think she's thinking?
I would think that she'd probably be flattered.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, the name of the secret agent, like he was fantasizing as being Smash Adams.
Mm-hmm.
That was the name of the character that he wanted to be.
Smash Adams. There you go. All right. So, what about the other one? We're missing one more. The Indiana Jones one.
Oh man, like now I gotta look up more stuff.
My bad. I just thought about it.
Yeah,
I just thought about the Indiana Jones. You know what I'm talking
man,
about, though, right?
like this is this type of stuff. Like you gotta have a full list of info for.
Yeah, you got. We're just winging this one, so we're not even gonna stick on Doug too long. One of my favorites. Did you like Hey Arnold?
Bruh, that was a very good show and very well written.
Very well written.
Like a lot of people didn't take into consideration how deep Hey Arnold actually was.
Facts.
Because where they lived was like they lived in pretty much like the poverty, like in poverty in New York. Because only.
Oh, so you think that too? I used to tell people because they live in New York.
Yeah, because in New York, like their schools are PS.
Yeah.
Such
PS
and such.
118.
Yeah. So I'm figuring like that's pretty much where they live.
Right.
And like each character has such a like somewhat dark backstory.
Yeah.
Especially Helga. Helga had a very dark backstory because of
Helga and Arnold probably had the two darkest backstories.
Yeah. And I still remember, like, even though it was funny, it was still real.
Yeah.
Like, it was like our introduction into like tolerance of like
Facts.
other people.
Helga is literally being neglected by both of her parents.
Yeah, and then they show
for
favoritism to her older sister.
Olga. Yeah. To the point where they even forget her name. They remember Olga all the time.
Yeah.
But when Helga comes around, they misspell her name, they mispronounce her name, and she's just going around looking for affection, which is, leads to her obsession with Arnold.
Yeah.
Who has his own dark backstory in his own right.
Yeah, because his parents died and like, it's like,
well
not died, but they are somewhat lost.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen the movie that came out a couple years ago.
Nah, I ain't see it.
So they had a Hey Arnold movie come out in about 2019, and I'm glad they did this, but it also would have been cool without it. They basically tied up the loose ends to Hey Arnold.
Okay.
So there's a contest going on at PS 118. By the way, Arnold and them, they like in the 5th or 6th grade at this point, by the way, in this movie.
Okay.
There's a contest going on at PS 118, and the winner of these contests get to go to this place. I forgot the name of the place, but it's the place where Arnold's parents disappeared at.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, everybody at this point knows what happened to Arnold's parents. So they go behind Arnold's back, and they put together a project so Arnold can win the contest. So they end up putting together this project, and he unanimously wins like this humanitarian award, and the reward is like his class gets to go here or whatever.
Okay.
So they go to the place, and he's kind of like dealing with a lot of emotions and whatnot. So they ended up running into like the person who came to recruit his parents for that last trip,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like telling all these stories about his parents and things that Arnold never knew, blah blah blah. And so in the midst of that, they get like ambushed by like pirates and
What the?
which is the villain of this movie. And so the villain, he's saying something, he's telling Arnold that you might look at me like the bad guy, but the bad guy is right next to you. And he's talking about the person who recruited his parents for this trip. And they're both looking for something because it's something that the village that they're in, all the parents are asleep. They're in comas, which is where Arnold's parents are. They're up there with these. So it's kids running the village, and basically they're trying to find the antidote of what's going to wake the parents up, but the kids are looking for the antidote to wake their parents up. These two, they're looking for the antidote to go sell it to get money.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're not trying to wake the parents up. They just, so long story short, of course, through a bunch of trials and tribulations, blah, 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 Helga ends up finding the antidote. And so at this point, she even confesses like how much she's in love with Arnold and blah, blah, blah. Arnold doesn't believe her. Arnold thinks she's crazy. And then she ends up finding the antidote. So when she gets attacked by the villain, the dude that recruited his parents also turns like into a villain because he want now the niggas see the money. You know what I'm saying? So she ended up dropping the antidote off like a cliff or whatever. And so the main villain, he dives off the cliff behind it, right, to his death. He's died, like that's how much he was willing to risk it. He dives off the cliff and he dies or whatever. And so what happens is there's like a cliff on this side and there's a cliff on the other side, and you know how they had like them little bridges that's like rope.
Mm-hmm.
It was that, but it had broken. So they end up climbing down the little cliff or whatever, and they get the antidote. And so it's an antidote, and then there's something else that they have to put together, but only the kids knew how to do it. So they give it to the kids, and then long story short, all the parents end up waking up. And that's when Arnold, like, he finally rediscovers his parents. They woke up and, they come back to New York, blah, blah, blah. And so the ending to Hey Arnold is his parents are finally back home in the boarding house with his grandparents, with all the boarders. Arnold does end up liking Helga, so they end up dating.
Oh, that's adorable.
Gerald ends up dating Phoebe.
That's obvious.
Yeah, super obvious through the years. You know what I'm saying? And Arnold's parents, they're like, since they've been gone so long, they're like super annoying. So everything that he does, they're following him around. So when they're walking to school, they're following him to school because they've been, you know what I'm saying? And they even crack like little jokes like, oh, you still got you still wearing the little hat that we gave you as a baby. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how Arnold got that little ass hat on.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, that was the end. The ending to Hey Arnold.
That was actually good.
Yeah, that
But,
was.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, I like the way that turned out.
Yeah,
And,
it's dope. It still got the same voice characters and everything.
And, yo, like, Hey Arnold is like it. Even though it was a kid show, it was an adult show as well.
Yeah,
Like they incorporated both styles at the same time and perfected it very, very well.
very well.
Because it was so many episodes where it was like almost. It seems like it was life threatening, but at the same time it was funny.
Right.
Like the downtown is fruits.
Dope.
Like
Which is the
they
very
got
first episode.
like they literally got robbed.
Right. And
Like,
blessed in the same night.
Exactly. They got robbed. And they could have died from a robbery, but ended up getting a whole bunch of money from a dude that probably it was illegal anyway. We already know as adults.
That definitely was a drug deal.
Yeah, it was. Like don't worry about it. Just take the money. I was like, you know, this is illegal.
Here you go.
Yeah, they come out there looking like poets.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh.
At the pool hall buying everybody drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like being able to incorporate such like dark humor in a children's show and then still being able to be believable for a child to be able to watch it. Cause
shout out to the writers in the 90s.
Yes, definitely. And shout out to the people who actually drew it as well.
Yeah, very.
Like, it was very well drawn, well written.
Animated, very colorful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just so gritty.
Yeah.
Like the backstories, like I said, the backstory of certain characters. Like, you remember, like, Stoop Kid. Like, how they really get upset. Like, he really was scared to leave the stoop.
Yeah.
Because of
PTSD.
Yeah. And Chocolate Boy. There was, like, a drug addiction.
Yeah.
They mentioned, like, a drug addiction in a childish way.
Yeah. Even Monkey Man, the hero, like, he's basically was driven out by society. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Pigeon Man. You know, like, they just didn't get along with society and ended up, like, being passionate about something to the point where people had to accept them one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was... Hey, Arnold definitely was well thought out and planned and created.
Yeah. They had their own version of Frank Sinatra and Dino Spumoni.
Yeah. Dino Spumoni.
Hey, yo, that was a really clever name.
Shout out to the Borders, man. You like any of the Borders?
Yeah.
Mr. Wynn?
Yeah, so Mr. Wynn had such a very dark backstory, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He lost his daughter and stuff like that. That Christmas episode, that shit.
Fire.
Son, that shit will make you cry, bruh.
That was fire. Yeah.
Like when he told the story about the war in Vietnam
and give his daughter up.
Yeah.
Like
in real life, he wouldn't have got his daughter back because you know what they be doing with kids.
And odds are, even if she was to go live a regular life somewhere, the odds of her ending up in your city,
slim to none.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely dope. Shout out to on the lighter note from Hey Arnold, one of my faves, Mr. Kokoska.
Hey, bro.
Hey, because I don't want to harp on Hey Arnold too long, but I do want to tell like a quick joke. It was the episode where Arnold helped him get a job, and he was bullshitting every morning, and he always had an excuse why he couldn't do it. Like he'd tell Arnold he was sick, and then Arnold to go do the job for him. But by the time Arnold get home, he'd be like partying or something. And be like, "Grandma, keep the pancakes coming." Yeah, good. Yeah, nah, good. Shout out to all the characters.
It was such like real life there, bro. Like it didn't feel like a cartoon after a while. It just started to feel like just another day.
Yeah, very relatable.
Yeah,
very relatable, bro.
Man, and one thing for sure. Like I mean, just before we get off of Hey Arnold, shout out to his grandparents.
Yeah,
they like wisdom.
Yeah,
for days.
Even though the grandma was A little loony.
Yeah, little, but she has so much wisdom.
Uh-huh.
Cause remember the episode where he couldn't finish the list?
You know what? That might be my favorite episode.
Yeah.
That list episode. That
And
might
then
be
Yeah, she had the piano on the roof,
She
and then she started
piano,
she started singing the song.
That song fire, by the way.
Yeah, life gets you down, you wearing the frown.
Yeah.
Don't look away, look up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? It took me to watch the episode as an adult. When I was a kid, I used to think she was saying, remember when they sung the song? And then Arnold, he was like, you know what, Grandma, let's sing it again. When I was a kid, I used to think she said, you know what, Arnold, you a pimp. Like you ain't used to think that.
Hey, no, I did not.
Yeah, I was like, it took me watching that as an adult.
I didn't know what a pimp was when I was a kid.
It took me watching that as an adult to say, oh, she's not saying pimp. She's saying pimp. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, okay. I thought she was Arnold. You're a pimp.
And they gave this man a harmonica as a kid. Like, come on, bro. Like that's classical blues right there.
It is.
Man, he played the hell out of that harmonica.
Yeah. Only thing I ever questioned about Arnold was the outfit.
Yeah, the attire.
Yeah.
The fact that he wore the long shirt that people would think it was a dress.
Yeah. Go the kilt.
Yeah. I mean, it was in the same fashion as a kilt. Like, I mean, it had the plaid colors and stuff like that. It looked like a kilt, but it was just a long shirt over top. I mean, underneath of a sweater.
Yeah,
he had a really weird style.
Yeah, definitely. But like, you know, man, I guess you in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Well,
hoodish.
Yeah, hoodish. They definitely were in the hood.
It was too damn diverse for it to be hood.
Yeah, very diverse, and not black people diverse either, because there's only a few of them.
Yeah,
and we can't leave without shouting out Gerald, man.
Yeah. Man, shout out to Gerald, bro.
Yeah, high top fade, throwback jersey.
Yeah, man, he looked like a real kid from back in the 90s, bro. He looked like a real kid.
Definitely was.
Like, 'cause we used to dress like that.
Yeah, definitely was. Yeah.
Had the little jersey. I mean, yeah, like you're a big fan of jersey, so it's just like jersey, had the hair. Like his hair was always fresh.
And what's gonna be funny is the more cartoons we go over, the more this stereotype will be into play.
Man,
because there's another cartoon I want to talk about where there's a black guy with the exact same style that we're gonna get into. Well, I'm gonna let you get into your favorite cartoon.
I think I might know which one you're talking about.
I know you do, because there's a couple of them.
Man,
but your favorite cartoons?
Man, I remember starting off like, man, when I was a kid, it was just so much. Because I was a big Nickelodeon head when I was a kid.
Me too.
Nickelodeon from sun up to sundown. Nick Jr. in the morning, regular Nick. And then, I mean, I never fuck with Nick at night because, you know, that was like the old people shows to me back then.
I love Lucy and all that.
Yeah, once you hear that, or you hear
Bewitched.
And Full House and all that, bro. Like, once you hearing that, you was like, oh, well, my time is up. Time for me to go to bed.
Yeah. You know what? Full House, I would listen to the theme song.
Yeah, I mean, Full House, like, once I got older, I started to like it. But it's just, like, now, I mean, back then, it was just, like, it was meh. Yeah, it was, like, the equivalent to hearing the MASH theme song. You knew that it was time for you to go to bed.
I didn't even like the MASH theme song. At least when I hear, you know, at least I was like, I get the bottom of my head for a little bit. Yeah. And, you know, after that, though, yeah, like you said, click.
Yeah. But, yeah, boy. Yeah, that song's fire.
Actually, it is. Very underrated.
It's fire. But that Nickelodeon to me, like that was my heyday.
Okay.
In the 90s, that was Nickelodeon's heyday. Like, you could not go wrong with Nickelodeon.
Yeah, definitely was untouchable.
I think one of my favorite shows from Nickelodeon had to have been Kablam.
Okay.
And I'm not even lying. I had so many hours just watching Kablam. Like, it was a compilation of many different cartoon aspects.
Right.
And then you add in the fact that they use claymation and toymation for some of this stuff. Like, the toymation came from Action League Now. Mm-hmm. Then the claymation came from like Prometheus and Bob, and you also see like what's it? Life with Loopy, or Lucy. I forgot what it was. I think it was Life with Loopy. But you get stuff like that. But that actually wasn't toymation or claymation. I think that was just like paper like like the old way they used to make little I don't know. It's like subtle artwork made with like just paper that they like glue together and stuff like that. I think that's how they made that. I could be wrong, but I tell you this, it was so fun to watch because of how colorful a lot of the things were.
Definitely was a great show.
And then Action League Now was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. The mayor, who was a black guy, he always had something to say. And it was just like, you couldn't go wrong because they had every single aspect of a show that you would want for a kid.
Right.
Because it had funny. It had somewhat action-y stuff with Action League Now. But it had the oddly really doopy, dumb stuff like Prometheus and Bob, where the alien's trying to teach the caveman how to do certain things and he just constantly messing up.
Yeah. Which is probably I would have to see about timing. Probably the first time we've ever experienced that partnership between a smart and a dumb, cohesion that we would see for many years to come, which is a golden partnership in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the very, I don't know. It would depend. I don't know what.
I mean, it might not have been the first, but it definitely is.
Ren and Stimpy might have been.
Ren and Stimpy is like early, it was early on, like that.
It might have been right. It might have been the same time frame though. I don't know.
Like Ren was just as dumb.
But he could be smart though.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean,
you want that.
I mean, they had Pinky in the Brain too and stuff like that.
Yeah, Pinky in the Brain.
Like, fun fact: me and my mom, she actually will quote that like consistently. Like I'll ask her like, "Oh, mom, so what did you do today?" She like, "Same thing I do every day. Try and take over the world."
Oh, yeah,
she will quote that consistently. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure within the last week or so, like she's probably said it a couple times. So every time I ask her, like, "What did you do today?" Like she'll answer with that.
Right.
That's how iconic that was.
Very iconic.
So.
Yeah, Pinky in the Brain's probably.
It was. I mean,
unless you would have to.
For the ones who didn't have cable, yeah, that was like a lot of like real good for them.
Yeah, you would probably have to go back to. I don't know.
Yeah, like for the ones who didn't have cable, I mean, I didn't have cable for a little while, bro.
Okay.
Like when I went to live with my grandparents, we didn't have cable at one point. So I'm watching like Animaniacs. I'm watching I'm watching Power Rangers. I'm watching like we're gonna get into this thoroughly. We're watching Pokemon.
Shout out to Power Rangers. Shout out to Pokemon.
And I'm watching Digimon.
Shout out Digimon.
Man,
yeah. There's we'll hop on Nickelodeon a lot, but there's plenty of classics outside of Nickelodeon. That's just
you can't just go wrong with a lot of the stuff from like the early '90s to the 2000s.
Yeah. So while we're on Nickelodeon, did you like any of the other shows like Cat Dog, Angry Beavers?
Love Cat Dog. Angry Beavers is actually one of my favorites.
Okay.
Because Fridays had the best lineups.
Yeah.
Friday had the best lineup. It had Rugrats, Angry Beavers. It had Kablam. It had Cousin Skeeter, which is an honorable mention right now. Cousin Skeeter.
Live action.
Oh, my goodness. You could not have had a very good, like, first and foremost, Megan Good.
Jesus Christ.
Megan Good. And she's always been older than me. So back then I was like, I want her.
Yeah.
Like she was just, oh my Lord.
Yeah, she's definitely super tough.
Not too much now, but back then, I definitely wanted her. Like she was fire.
Super.
She's been in like movies and television for like almost her whole life, honestly. She was in Friday.
Right. Very difficult. Yeah. Shout out to Cousin Skeeter. What about? Did I say Cat Dog?
Yeah, you said Cat Dog. And then there's other just like Rocket Power.
Yeah, Rocket Power.
Fire.
That used to be a part of that line because they would interchange the lineup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you could get Hey Arnold, you get Doug, Rocket Power, like you said, Rugrats.
Yeah.
It's just you just couldn't miss.
You couldn't.
Yeah,
Bro.
you
You
just
could
really,
not miss.
really couldn't miss. Like
And then they,
even the shows that didn't get like a lot of love, like Invader Zim. Oh,
oh,
shout out before I say Invader Zim. Two that fit along with that lineup that you just named: Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, they get claps, bro.
Yeah.
Fairly Odd Parents,
Odd
bro.
Parents and Jimmy Neutron. Shout out to both of them.
And Jimmy, oh my God,
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Neutron, bro.
Yeah, shout out to both
I
of
think
them.
that started off with a movie.
I think so.
Yeah, everything was the movie, and then they turned it into a TV show because it was very well received.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember the movie. The movie was amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to both of them.
And people used to always be like, how are they breathing in space and they don't have any helmets or nothing? No, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
Very too many shows.
man, what?
Too many shows.
And I'm gonna let you know another one of my favorite shows
Mhm.
that wasn't cable though. Magic School Bus.
That wasn't cable? That was cable,
Nah,
right?
it was PBS.
PBS wasn't cable?
Nah, that was
All
channel.
right. Yeah,
I think
let's go to
It's like
PBS.
22, I think. Channel 22.
Yeah, it was 22, and then it was another one,
Yeah,
26 or something.
Yeah, PBS and shit. Like, and then they had a lot like for the non-cable shows.
Yeah, let's go to PBS because Magic School Bus is one of the goats.
Man,
Like
they had a lot of like
Man,
non-cartoon
I'm-
ones. Like that's the thing.
that too, but cartoon wise, let's another one of my faves, Arthur.
Oh man,
Is his
He
theme
get-
song still relevant?
it's not even just the theme song. Even like the sub songs that they had.
Yeah,
Where remember the episode was nothing more than a musical.
yeah.
And they had the
Which part of my favorite?
Jekyll Hyde.
Yeah, I was about to say, which part of my favorite episode? Yeah, that.
Man, that was one of my favorite
Hard
songs.
Isn't hard when
You got a library card.
Yeah,
Man.
are they? People are still remaking his theme song. Did you hear the DMV one? The most recent DMV one?
Nah.
So I was on the DMV Hoods and News page on Instagram, and it's because I know Goofy did one, but his was like kind of regular. But then there was somebody else that did one, and I didn't watch it so many times. I know about Hot Now. That's how many times I watched it. And the beat kicks up, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Cuz is just like, every day I be chopping with my feet. This shit be looking sweet. I'm from the heart of the DMV. and then his mask come on and be like, and I say, Mo, I got some rollers that's trying to go. But they stay y'all ward off though.
Hey.
And we can get there by tomorrow. He smell.
I never heard that.
Yeah, and then he get into the little person like, see, all you gotta do is spark. Then she gonna let you be spark. He like, stop acting scared, Holmes. Ain't you from Southeast? And it was like, hey, Slim. When I tell you, I was crying, and I watched it at least 100 times. Like he got like so many views. 100 of them at least came from me.
Oh my God,
Slim.
bruh.
And I just thought to myself, I said, yo, how iconic is Arthur? Where it's like we still. Cause remember they used to do go-go version.
Yeah, I remember the go-go version of
Yeah,
Arthur.
it's 2021, bro. Arthur might have came out what 95, and he still
He started off with the books too. Arthur books.
yeah he still hold. Shout out to Arthur, man. Still hold weight.
Yeah,
Man.
when he actually really did look like an aardvark, when he had the long face and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, cause and one of the most iconic memes of all time, the fist.
Yeah. And then he has the meme where he's putting on the clothes and then
Oh yeah,
and then
DW.
DW's in the bed. Like that's like it's so many iconic moments.
He
Like,
does have iconic. Yeah, that's an iconic one.
bro, like you can make memes out of almost anything, but come on, bro. Like some of
Yeah.
the most iconic moments in Arthur is like
Arthur memes,
he even had
yeah.
the little the little video where he went Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah,
When he was getting mad at DW.
yeah. That's shout out to Arthur, man.
All right, man. Definitely shout out to Arthur, bro.
Before we gonna stay on PBS. Before we get to the live action, it's one more cartoon that doesn't get the love I feel like it deserves, but it was one of the goats to me, but maybe not to a lot of people. And that was Rupert.
I wasn't a fan of Rupert.
I was. And those who don't know, he was like a bear that went on like these uncanny adventures, and that stuff like that was sweet. You know what I'm saying?
I was more of a Dragon Tales type person.
I like Dragon Tales too.
Like,
Same thing almost, but Rupert's was kind of more dark.
But it had dragons in it though.
Yeah, yeah. So we get to live action.
We didn't even finish the
PBS cartoon.
I mean PBS.
No, I'm
sure.
talking about live action with PBS.
All right, live action with PBS. I had a lot.
Did you?
Me personally.
Okay.
I love like Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Until that last episode with the gumball machine, and that petrified me as a kid. And I even to this day, that was the most, like, out of everything I've ever seen that was horrifying, that is probably number one.
Okay.
Like, I mean, that gumball machine, I mean, not gumball, but it was like a gum ooze that came out of his mouth.
Okay.
And it was like his face was like somewhat melted.
Okay.
It was like purple and melted, and he wore this little creepy trench coat. And dude, apparently during this whole ordeal with this gum machine, he's going around and attacking the kids and covering them with like the gum that comes out of his mouth.
Okay.
And like this is like symbolizing somewhat like death in the eyes of a child.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he do that, but later on when they thought that they had gotten rid of him, the son of a bitch comes back as a human size but bigger.
Gotcha.
So I'm completely terrified of a show that I thought was for me. Come to find out, Wes Craven didn't written the script for this.
Yeah, shout out to Wes Craven, man.
R.I.P. to Wes Craven. But yeah. God, oh my, like I was so scared as a kid. I had dreams about it. Like I did not want to sleep in the room by myself. Gotcha. I had dreams that the son of a bitch was walking through my doorway about to get me. Gotcha. Like I was done. And that sticks with me to this day. I'm not scared of it anymore, but I know how scared I was as a kid, and that was number one on my list.
Right.
But those other little live action, Wishbone.
Shout out to Wishbone.
Fire. One of my favorite episodes is the Sleepy Hollow episode.
Okay. I don't remember that off the top of my head. Was Goosebumps, was that PBS or was that something else?
Goosebumps was, I think it was UPN.
Okay. Yeah.
It was either UPN or it might have been Fox.
It came to somewhere else.
I mean, not UPN. I mean, not Fox. It might have been UPN or it was WB. One of the two.
Might have been WB. I don't know. Might have been both. But who knows?
Goosebumps definitely gets a nod. Same thing as like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like they get nods immediately.
Yeah, and we can't forget the most probably iconic show in PBS history, Sesame Street.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Rogers, man. You talk about somebody with an interesting backstory.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers' real life story was the complete opposite of what he was on the show.
Yeah. Man, to kill people and all that.
Yeah, he was with the Navy SEALs. They used to call him Mr. Catch a Body Rogers, you know? Yeah, man. I think I had like a little documentary. And it was like, I don't know what to believe nowadays, but if the documentary is true, he's a cold killer. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't get on his bad side.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Mr. Rogers, man. It makes sense, though, because, he just, even in the TV show, he's a little too meticulous about everything. You come home, take one sweater off, put another one on.
Here's a weird theory. Like, maybe during the show, like he suffered from so much PTSD that he started taking heavy drugs, and then that whole story was nothing more than an acid trip.
I don't think that was even drugs. I think that's just like the trauma. Like that's just your imagination running wild. Like he has a make believe land where his puppets and shit flying, coming around and all that, and he got the. I'll tell you one thing. Having a traffic light in his room, I want one.
All right, I don't know about all that. That'd be too much noise.
Nah, here's why I'm making no noise. It's a little traffic light.
Oh yeah,
red,
the little
red, yellow, green.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the train set and all that shit.
Oh nah, you can keep that. I'm good with the puppets. We got puppets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, what you gonna do? Have was it Sugar Daddy Sam and shit, like pop up. Hey Avery.
Yeah, I wouldn't remake a Mr. Rogers unless it was like a super dark undertone to it. I would have to have both. I would have to incorporate his real life with the TV show.
That'd be a really good idea for a later on skit. I mean, not skit, but like short film or something.
It would. Let's do that.
See, ideas coming up out of nowhere, man.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
But,
So shout out to Mr. Rogers. Shout out to
definitely.
Sesame Street too, man.
Yeah.
Sesame Street been around 50,
Man, it's been
40?
out forever.
50, 60 years.
Man, Big Bird right now he got a walker.
Yeah,
He
shout
got
out to
bad knees.
Big Bird, Elmo.
Man, Snuffleupagus. He got
Yeah.
grandchildren and shit.
Two of my favorites, Bert and Ernie.
Even though they were
Which
like people were questioning their sexuality.
Eventually, yeah, but
As a kid, you didn't even pay attention.
he didn't. It's just too funny. Again, you got the smart and the dumb.
Yeah, and I remember when he be in the tub. Rubber ducky,
Yeah.
you're the one.
Yeah,
Make bath time lots of fun.
yeah. Shout out to them, man. And my one of my favorites, probably my favorite character on the whole show, Grover.
Yeah, you know, Grover was funny.
Idiot. Cool
Like,
idiot.
he is. Definitely an idiot.
Kermit the Frog. Whenever how popular was Kermit the Frog, man?
Kermit was
a part
definitely
of
popular.
two different. Like you're part of Sesame Street and the Muppets. Like you're part of two different stables. Are you
Yeah,
a rock star or what?
man, did songs with Louis. I think it was Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think to myself,
Uh-huh.
what a wonderful world. Like,
Yeah.
son.
Shout out to Kermit, man. That's a character right there.
Man, definitely. I love like Kermit was amazing. But I think my favorite out of there, it had to have been let me see. Like it couldn't nah. Cause I was gonna say Big Bird, but I can't, bruh.
Yeah, that's he's too normal for me.
Yeah, like
Yeah, he's the normal.
like he
Like-
was like I mean as a kid I loved him because
Yeah.
Big Bird.
Yeah,
As an adult, like thinking about like that was my favorite back then. It's like
yeah.
why?
For me, it was Bert, Ernie, and Grover. Everybody was cool. I could vibe with everybody because obviously you appreciate Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, like Oscar.
Um,
As of right now, like if I was to have a favorite,
It
that
would-
would have
it
been
would be Oscar.
Oscar because I mean he's like the the realest one on there because he's homeless. Like
Yeah.
he had it
a little,
rough.
a little too real.
Yeah, he had it rough for years.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, everybody's fan favorite is Elmo.
Yeah.
And what's the other red one?
What rebel?
Telly. That's his
Oh yeah,
name.
Telly. I forgot about Telly.
Yeah, Telly's he was kind of regular, just
Yeah, regular degular. out
yeah.
here.
For me, you had to always been in something for me to like gravitate to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Grover, he was always like when he's working at the restaurant.
Yeah, he's always on some dumb stuff. Though.
Yeah, ended up getting his own show. Bert and Ernie, that endless. I remember this one episode where they was in a cave, Egyptian cave, looking at the hieroglyphics and all of that, and they walked past a statue, and Bert is the smart one, or is Bert the dumb one? Yeah, Bert. Bert is a smart one. So Bert will walk past the statue, and nothing would happen. But when Ernie walked past, the statue would move and grab him, and then let him go, and then go back to like posing or whatever. And so Ernie used to be calling Bert, hey, Bert, the statue is alive, it's alive. And then Bert would come back and be like, yo, you got to stop chipping, you know what I'm saying? Like everything cool. So then they walk through another room and the same thing would happen. And he'd be like, Bert, it's happening again. And then Bert would come running back and be like, oh, yo, you chipping. Everything looks normal, you know what I'm saying? And so, everything always got a little twist at the end. So Ernie was like, you know what? Maybe I am chipping. Let's just get up out of here. So they was walking out the jump, and Ernie had walked out. Bert had walked out first. Ernie had walked out first, and Bert was like, "Hey Ernie, did you drop something?" And then the statue that was next to him was like, "Yeah, he dropped his wallet." And they handed him his wallet, and he was like, "All right, cool, thanks." And then it was like a slight little delay, and then he was like, "Hold up." And then he just ran off. Hey, yeah, that little stuff like that was always funny.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the subtle comedy like that, it's always been in kids' television shows. And even today, it's effective.
Very effective. Very. Definitely appreciate that. So,
Right.
I didn't really like this show, but I want your opinion on it. Zaboomafoo,
Loved
which
it.
is live action.
Loved Zaboomafoo.
Loved it.
Even though the dog, but the lemur actually died, unfortunately. Yeah, recently though.
They don't. They're not like humans though.
I know, but come on, man. Like, it's a childhood thing, man.
Yeah. Shout out to what are they up to, by the way?
I don't know, but I know they
crack.
taught me a lot about animals.
They did. They told me that Zaboomafoo wouldn't talk unless he ate, which was a little upscaly for me, but okay. But then they did teach us a lot of stuff about animals and stuff. Very dope show.
It was, bro. Like, it was the
National,
crocodile hunting before crocodile hunting.
yeah, National Geographic for kids.
Yeah, that and Zoom. I don't know if you remember
I
Zoom.
remember Zoom.
Morning Zoom, morning Zoom.
What was that show? I think this was PBS too, where they used to have like a little host, like a bunch of little kid songs.
Yeah, that was the name, Kid Songs.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
That was one of my favorite shows on there.
Yeah, that was man. That just popped in my head when you said the Zoom thing. That was dope too, though, wasn't it?
That was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
man.
that's very dope.
Like, I still remember like some of their songs. Like, it was just perfect.
PBS is very unheralded. They're dope.
Yeah, like that was my early childhood.
Yeah,
Like from the age of like 2 all the way up until maybe about 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was PBS. And then once I got old enough to play Pokemon, then I gravitated towards WB.
Yes, and
WB and Fox.
and Disney.
I ain't have cable back then. That was the thing.
Right.
Like back then, I had a cable.
So we could touch on Disney, but it won't be for that long. Cartoon wise, I can't speak for the live action as far as like cartoon wise. Disney's
been Disney.
Yeah, they've been okay. They've been okay.
Yeah.
Like they'll give you Recess,
Recess. Yeah.
and then they'll give you something where it's like when Disney bought Doug from Nickelodeon, I didn't like that Doug.
Yeah. They tend to just destroy things.
Yeah, it was because I guess they was this was around the time where Nickelodeon had did the thing with the Rugrats, the all grown up thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like trying to advance some of the characters. So Disney wanted to do that with Doug. So they advanced Doug and them. But it was like there was no meaning behind nothing no more. It was just empty episodes, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Up until the end. Up until like the last episode where they school had got shut down and I think something happened with Patty's dad, and Doug was like there for her, and they finally agreed to go on a date. You know what I'm saying? But you don't even know if it was gonna work out because, like I said, their school had shut down, so now everybody going to different schools, and like,
yeah,
I think his sister had went off to college, and she was pregnant or whatever.
Damn.
I think Skeeter and I think he was going to like another school. It was like a breakup. Like,
yeah, I mean, they did live near each other, but I mean, that's not the same though.
Yeah, it's not because I've lived near friends and going to different schools. I'm not gonna say it makes a huge difference, but it's a big difference.
Yeah, because you're not standing at the same bus stops.
Yeah,
you're not seeing them consistently throughout the day.
Right.
Because even the bus ride there, like you're gonna see them.
Right. So yeah, it was kind of like up until the last episode was emotional, but getting to that point was just like, this ain't. But Recess.
Yeah, like that's one of the goats.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it came from a place where cartoon really didn't thrive.
Right.
Like they were good with the live action in their movies. Like
Yeah.
their movies, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like even though this is a podcast about cartoons, but Disney had some great live action movies.
Oh yeah, facts.
Like one of my favorites from them was one of their Halloween specials. Don't Look Under the Bed.
Okay.
Man, when I tell you, like Larry was perfectly casted. Even though the funny thing is, they wanted a white guy to play that character. Like he was supposed to play like the imaginary friend and all that stuff, but the person who played Larry did so well, he ended up getting the part anyway.
Okay.
So, and I think he was perfectly casted, and just the idea of imaginary friends turning to boogeymen because they're children that they were a part that really was there for them during that time.
Right.
They just forgot about them. Like after that, like that kind of it put things into perspective as far as like imagination.
Right.
So you look at it and it's like, man, it's very well thought out.
Yeah. Very, very, very. Yeah.
And like Halloween Town, like all of that entire series, people knew about it. Their live action stuff was always big. Like Even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire, Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Their stuff.
I kind of felt like that's where they had Nickelodeon at.
Yeah, they shine.
Yeah.
On that.
They out. Even though Nickelodeon gave you good live actions too, cause you can't, all that.
I mean, all that was like more sitcom-y. Well, not sitcom-y, but that was like SNL for kids.
I'm about to say Even Stevens was sitcomish, but I'm saying like as far as like the live,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like live action stuff like
yeah,
that. They did it very well.
Because all that like kind of spawned like Keenan and Kel, Amanda Bynes show.
Yeah, Amanda show. Like
Yeah.
Keenan and Kel show was the blueprint for a lot of these TV shows now.
Yeah, well, it depends because I don't think they were. I think it was something. My Brother and Me or something.
Well, yeah, My Brother. Yeah,
I kinda
My
felt like
Brother
that.
and Me, 100 D's for Eddie McDowell. They had Caitlin's Way, all that other stuff. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, like My Brother and Me. I think that was before like Keenan and Kel.
but it wasn't shot in the sitcom-y way.
But that was it was like that was kind of the. I feel like that was kind of the. That's what they were trying to go for. You know what I mean? Like, because I would count technically I would count all that as a sitcom because it is situational comedy.
I mean, it's sketch comedy.
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. I feel like.
I guess.
Yeah, because it's just like how Saturday Night Live is. It's just like they're giving you multiple topics in one episode instead of a actual like Even Stevens are going to harp on one thing for this 30 minutes, and then the next episode to be this one thing. Where I kind of feel like they're just giving you multiple sketches. Yeah, I kind of would feel like because then what else would you put it under?
Which one?
All that.
All that, like it just goes in under the like sketch comedy show. That's all they're going. It'll be like the same thing as like in Living Color, or.
But it's still live action though. It's still I would count it as live action because it's actual live. It's live.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
if you want to put it in that category, that's up to you.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, I feel like
Yeah.
it's live action. Anything not a cartoon is live
Yeah,
action. and
I'm
shit.
not going down your opinion.
And shout out to Nickelodeon for the game shows as well.
Oh yes, the game show, bruh.
Yeah, figure it
Like
out.
I know that like people are probably just like, man, they're supposed to be talking about cartoons, but man, when you talk about Nickelodeon,
Yeah, we are.
and you talk about these shows, like, come on, like it just starts to run together.
Yeah.
Like and you just mentioned the game shows, bruh. Double Dare.
Yeah, Double Dare. Figure it out.
Yes.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Man, that was one of my favorites. Legend of the Hidden Temple
Yeah.
was one of my favorites. Wild and Crazy Kids.
Yeah, Wild and Crazy Kids. What was the one? What was the video game one? The arcade jump.
I can't remember, but
you know
I
what I'm
love
talking
that
about.
jump,
You know what I'm
bruh.
talking about though?
I know I forgot it, but
Yeah.
that was one that I love that jump, bro.
Man, I forgot.
What was the little Olympics, the Olympians jump? I forgot what the name of that jump was.
Global Guts.
Global Guts.
So something like it's going because the crazy thing is once we separate, it's gonna all come. It's gonna come and shit.
Yeah, bro, like that jump's all of those.
Yeah,
Like that's the reason why Nickelodeon was on top for so long, because it had stuff for everybody.
It was a complete package.
It did. Yeah, like, it had everything.
It was a complete package,
bruh.
Like every other channel I felt like had something special, but wasn't a complete package though.
Exactly.
They'll have fire cartoons, but the live action would be trash.
And then they had horror stuff. They had live action stuff. Yeah. They had everything. Are You
Afraid
of the Dark is like one of the best children's horror cartoons. I mean, not cartoons, but one of the best horror children's like story to reality shows from I think I've ever seen besides Goosebumps.
And shout out to them, because I watched the most recent one. They just brought one out, and it's very good.
Yeah,
it has
I know
a very old school.
it.
Yeah, it has a very old school feel to it. Even though they just done it recently, So shout out to Nickelodeon for at least doing that. Like, I kind of feel like they're on a wave now where they're just trying to rekindle that 90s, 2000 magic.
Yeah, they brought back all that and the Rugrats and
they got some work to do with all that. I'm a kind of a fan, but they got some. Bruh. Maybe if they interchange, and I'm not gonna say get rid of anybody, but they could add more characters in. Cause all that, the original all that, they did that as well though.
Man, but the thing was, like all of them were able to like hold their own in the sketch though.
Oh yeah.
Like we were talking about this off air, like and then the older cast, it was like every single last one of them had something. The it factor.
Yeah.
And they were able to hold their own, like even if nobody else was in the sketch with them.
Right.
Like we look at people like Josh Server or Danny Tamborelli, Danny Tamborelli was actually played. Man. Yeah, he played Fat Cap. Like, bruh, come on, like they had iconic characters by themselves.
Lori Beth.
Yeah, Lori Beth, like
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
Even later on when they like added Nick Cannon and one thing is people like, I know people like to give Nick Cannon a lot of flack, but dude's talented.
He is.
He's talented. He's like what I like to call solid comedy.
Exactly, and he even he did like stand up. Like stand up special and everything.
Shout out Nick Cannon, man.
This man has done almost everything, bro. He like the Master P of show business.
Yeah. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to break this up into 2 parts.
Man, I don't even care.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this one, I'm sorry that you're gonna have to wait a whole another week for part 2. Because we're gonna make all these today. So we'll know what we're talking about. We apologize for the wait, but cartoons is cartoons, and we already at an hour. So yeah, this is the BTN Breaking the Narrative podcast. I feel like I haven't said that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's been a couple episodes.
Yeah, I mean because usually I let you lead in now.
Not really.
I do.
It's not.
Or even if I do lead in, I just feel like I haven't mentioned the name.
Man, dog, like, I mean, at this point,
I just want to say the name. That's all.
At this point, they should already see it. I mean, it shows up like the BTN podcast right at the top.
Oh yeah, it does. I still want to say it though.
I mean, it's nice to say it.
It's cool.
Yeah, Breaking the Narrative podcast.
Easy on the tongue. Pause.
But
yeah.
So you might want to end it now.
Yeah. Well, tune in next week. Love all y'all. Like if you ever want to work, we do got to do that. If you ever want to work, hit us up. Serious inquiries only.
Yeah, because we had quite a few duds pop up.
Yeah, and quite a few is an understatement. So, yeah, serious inquiries only. But we out. Oh, look, gave ESPN a free plug. Damn it. All right.